What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to Lambo and Matt's World of Sports. Today we are getting into the UConn Huskies taking down the Purdue Boilermakers 75-60 in the national championship. And we're also going to let Lambo give his take on Coach Hurley and how great he holds him in those rankings of all time. So we will get into that. But before we do, make sure to visit totempolenation.com, get some gear, and support the boys. Our socials are scrolling below if you want to drop a follow, or if you have ideas about what you want us to talk about next, shoot us a DM like that. We'll get back to you. You might see it on here. Sideline Sports Network, huge shout out as always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll get into UConn right now.
How about those UConn Huskies back to back?
Microphone. All right. He'll get back in here. New mic, still figuring it out. All good. UConn took down Purdue 75-60. They let Zach Edey get his numbers. They just shut down everyone else. Lambo, take it away.
Now.
No, goddamn. That's crazy. We'll get it figured out. The game plan was pretty clearly let Edey, not let him, but the focus was not on taking away Edey, more taking away the support. He had 37. I think they had one other guy that was in double digits. Yeah, one guy with 12 points. And the rest of their points, 2 points from a bench forward. Jones had 5. And Trey had 4, I believe. Yeah. So the game plan was simple. Let Edey get his, take away what's going on the outside, and it proved to be a successful game plan. Where the hell is Lambo? Anyways, you look on the flip side with UConn, the scoring is spread out. They had 4 starters in double digits, and the I'm forgetting his name. Let me pull up the roster. Yeah, Klingon. I know Edey had 37. All right, I get it. But I thought Klingon defended him super well throughout the night. Now, there were some foul calls either way that were a little questionable. Hurley even was talking shit to Zach Edey. That was surprising to see. But, here we go.
What?
Let's go, baby.
All right, well, that took a while, but never mind.
Crystal clear.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but UConn is back-to-back national champions, and I'm trying to tell you, UConn is the primary focus of men's basketball. We know the women's has been successful. The men's have fell off a little bit. I mean, Lord, they're back. UConn will go for a three-peat, and I'm trying to tell you something. If Dan Hurley could turn around what he did in Rhode Island, now I understand that, the success early in Rhode Island wasn't great, but before he left to take the UConn job, at least Rhode Island was more competitive. They made it to the round of 32. And look what Dan Hurley has turned into UConn. A roster where you don't have to be the main scorer. They got other scorers. They have size. They can beat you multiple ways. They can beat you on offense. They can beat you on defense. I mean, they make their practices harder. Dan Hurley is setting the standard when it comes with college basketball to get into the pros. And I'm not saying other programs aren't doing it, but the way UConn, he's been there, this will be his 5th season coming up pretty soon, but in 6 years, right? In 6 years, made them national champions. Back-to-back, the last 2 seasons, they won 30-plus games. And you're telling me over the last 2 years, you only lost 11 games? Man, look, I love what Dan Hurley is doing. I did a recruiting video on UConn, and I understand they're not the top 5. They're not a Kentucky. They're not a Duke. They're not a Kansas. They're not UNC. They're not in the top 5 as far as the recruitment, but they're finding guys. You know why? It's called the transfer portal, right? You got to be able to use the transfer portal. Transfer portal is very, very, very important. Some things that other teams cannot do or fail to do very well. UConn, they got guys. They're going to have some guys going into the NBA. But the size they're bringing, And coming into the Big East Conference when they was in the American Athletic Conference, they come into the Big East Conference. They played a tough Marquette team. There's some dogs, but UConn says, no, this is our house. And remember what Dan Hurley said in 2020 when they lost to Villanova? You better get us now.
Yeah.
You better get us now. But guess what? They've blown out people by at least 15-plus points. The games aren't even close. They're not even close. And everybody had a tough time defending Purdue. And I know Zach Eason will get his points. He's tall. But, hey, in the second half, UConn is a different team. And I understand what Dan Hurley says. They can't win any close games. They suck closing games. But they say, you know what? We're going to dominate you, and we're going to destroy you. So if I don't think Kentucky's going to do anything depending on the coach they get, I might be a bandwagon and might go for UConn. I never had any hate against UConn being a Kentucky fan, even when they had Kimball Walker back in the day. I never been a hater of UConn. So maybe if I want to pick a team next year, if Virginia Tech ain't that damn good, maybe I'll go towards UConn. Dan Hurley is the Michael Jordan of college basketball.
So that's kind of what I want you to expound upon a little bit. What exactly, I hear what you just said, but that is all completely, and it's rightfully so. He is one of the best coaches of the past 5 years. But what do you mean? Like he's the Michael Jordan of college basketball? I don't think, like when you say that to me, Michael Jordan is in every conversation a top 2 at least player, because there's people that take Bron, there's people that take Jordan, and then even the people that take Kobe normally have Jordan at 2 as well. So in most conversations, Jordan is top 2 all time in the sport. Recently, yeah, Dan Hurley has been the top guy, but all time, he's not even like a top. I'm trying to think, like he's probably not a top 15 coach of all time. Top 10 maybe? But I mean, there's a lot of guys that you would put in front of him. So that's kind of my question is like, what do you mean?
In this era right now. Not the greats back then in the 80s. As of now.
No, not even the 80s. I would argue that he's not even – well, he's probably top 10 of like the 21st century.
That's what I meant. I mean, like as of now. If I have to pick and choose who is one of the top coaches, give me Dan Hurley.
But like if we were to stretch it from like 2000, the year 2000 to right now, you're not taking him.
No.
In the top 10, maybe.
No.
10. Okay. All right. Okay, good. That's kind of what I wanted to clear up because
you still have Coach K and Roy Williams and all these other coaches.
You got a lot of got a lot.
I'm not putting him ahead of Coach K. I don't like Duke, but I'm not putting him ahead of Coach K.
Yeah, I mean, you probably don't take him ahead of Jim, Calhoun or Boeheim. Probably,
no,
Bob.
Nope.
I mean, Coach Cal. Just
because
of all
Coach
the
Cal, yeah, prime Coach Cal, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like it. That's where my confusion came from because it was like recently, yeah, for sure. Like he's the top of the top.
This era, like as we speak,
it's basically like since the legends have been retiring.
Yes.
Yeah, since like the handing over of the torch.
Yes.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody in the past 5 years that you could say has been doing better. We had, Baylor came in their one good year, and now they're not. I shouldn't say one good year, but that year I think a lot of people had Baylor making a run, and they're kind of back to where it's like, all right, yeah, Baylor will probably get to like the Sweet 16 or something, and we'll see him bounce out from there. So I hear you. Consistency-wise, you take UConn above most teams right now.
Nothing else?
I mean, I agree with you. I'm not The thing that I wanted to talk about with it is because like what the hell what do you mean? But now I know what you mean. So I'm not going to argue with you. I think it makes sense for like the new era. It might be a little premature just because we got a couple more legends that are going to be retiring soon as well. I'm sure like with Izzo. But I mean, I can't sit here and say like you're absolutely wrong.
I thought you'll put up. I thought you'll put up a little bit more fight, or I thought you had more details.
Well, it's not more of a fight. I put up my argument as, you know, if he's not top 2 of all time, I don't know if Michael Jordan is the right analogy to use, but if the era just started 5 years ago, then like who am I going to put ahead of him?
There you go. Dan Hurley.
Like when I read the title before we started recording, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Because I didn't have that context.
Well, the context is said, Dan Hurley, I know you joined the Pat McAfee show. If I hit you on the DMs, you can join Totem Pole Nation and tell us your great insights on coaching and how UConn will be successful within the next 10 years. Do not take the Kentucky job. Stay at UConn. Don't take the Kentucky job because you got a great roster. But this is it for Lambo and Match World Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We want to thank you, Science Sports Network, for the platform. Y'all have a great day. UConn will win the championship again next year.